Hey everyone, today I want to talk about chicken! Shh. Shalom everybody, and welcome to Beit Tefillah. This video I've had in progress for a little while, but because of recent discussions on social media about this issue, I thought I'd bring this one to the forefront and just get it done. There was a particular topic going around on Facebook a few weeks ago, referring to a video called, and I quote, "Is chicken clean or unclean video?" That's really the name of it. The word video is actually at the end of the title in case you want to go to YouTube and check it out for yourself, okay? However, there is so much wrong with this video that it's hard to know where to start. I'm not going to show any video clips from it, but I want to discuss some of the things that were mentioned in it. First of all, the guy that made that video has probably never raised fowl of any kind, as he obviously doesn't know much about birds. I have years of experience raising turkeys, guineas, doves, pigeons, chickens, pheasants, and quail, so I know what I'm talking about. For example, here's a photo of me as a dorky little 10-year-old kid holding a couple of my pigeons. And then we'll see the inside of my coop that I had back then, and we'll see a lot of the pigeons in there, and we'll see some of the turtle or ringneck doves in the upper right-hand corner that are kind of congregated together. And then we'll fast forward to about 10 years ago here in Arkansas where I'm holding one of my pheasants. And then there's a few random photos in here, some eggs that my birds laid, which I incubated and hatched out, and I did a lot of that. And some of the different pheasants and quail and turkeys that I raised. I've been doing this for quite some time. I raise a lot of chickens as well, but I don't have any birds at this time. And over the years, I've been in competition with my birds. I wrote some how-to guides for a National Game Bird magazine and stuff like that. I've been around them most of my life. When I was discussing this issue of are chickens clean on Facebook, and someone replied to the thread I was posting in there and said, well, the Bible specifically states all fowls that creep upon all fours are an abomination unto you. So what fowl actually goes upon all fours then? And then they referred me to this verse from the King James Bible in Leviticus 11:20. All fowls that creep going upon all fours shall be an abomination unto you. Okay, fair enough. That's a valid question, as that's how it reads in the old King Jimmy. But if we look into it a little bit closer, it's an obvious mistranslation. Let's read it again. Leviticus 11:20. All fowl that creep going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. Now the word fowls in that verse usually refers to birds, but it can mean flying or to fly. Depends on the context. And the word creep in that verse comes from the Hebrew sheretz, which can mean creep, but here it actually means swarm. So read in context and translated properly, it would read as, all flying things that swarm going upon all four shall be an abomination unto you. And the three verses that follow it in the King James Bible shows that it goes in proper context with verse 20 that we just read, which is a big clue. That's why we always got to keep things in context. So let's read those three, starting with Leviticus 11:21. And this is all King James here, okay? Yet these ye may eat of every flying, creeping thing that goeth upon all four, which have legs above their feet, to leap withal upon the earth. Verse 22. Even these of them ye may eat, the locust after his kind, the bald locust after his kind, the beetle after his kind, and the grasshopper after his kind. Verse 23. But all other flying, creeping things which have 4 feet, or at least 4 feet, shall be an abomination unto you. So when read in context, Leviticus 11:20 is actually referring to insects, not birds. They shouldn't have put the word fowls in there, okay? And if we read the following 2 verses from there in the ISR Bible, it translates it like this. Leviticus 11:20-21. All flying insects that creep on all fours is an abomination to you. Only these you do eat of every flying insect that creeps on all fours, those which have jointed legs above their feet with which to leap on the earth. Like grasshoppers, crickets, things like that. So there you go. The King James Bible is a complete mess, and why I always try to avoid it. But anyway, I brought that up because it's this mistranslated verse from Leviticus 11:20 in the King James Bible that the guy in the video I'm talking about today uses as his proof that chickens are unclean and fowl such as quail are clean. Now, I hadn't seen the video that was being discussed on Facebook until someone sent me the link so I could watch it, and then I'm like, oh, now I see where people are getting this stuff. So thanks to who sent me the link, because I needed that. Well, anyway, the guy in that video that comes up with his misinformation is he tries to make his viewers think that because chickens have 4 toes that this makes them go upon all 4s. Seriously. Here's a screen capture from that video where he's talking about this, and I almost spit out my coffee when this graphic came up. So if this guy thinks that going upon all 4s is referring to toes on a bird's foot, then he's about the last guy that should be making a video on this subject. He says chickens go upon all 4s or 4 toes, so they are unclean, but quail, pigeons, and doves are clean. I guess someone needs to fill this poor guy in that quail, pigeons, and doves, they all have 4 toes on each foot as well. So there goes that little theory of his right there. And then he does wind up comparing flightless birds like the ostrich with other birds such as, the turkey or the peacock that may not be strong flyers, but they can still fly. Wild turkeys, they can be very strong flyers, for example. They're not the same as farm-raised turkeys. Wild turkeys, they can't, migrate like across states like ducks and geese and migratory waterfowl and other birds that do that. But we have them here, and I've seen them get way up there and take off and be gone in a second, and they can fly very well. So part of his way of reckoning of going upon all 4s are fowl like chickens that run around on the ground. Well, this is actually what quail do as well. I raised bobwhite quail, and I had very large pens for my quail, and they had perches way up high, and they had nest boxes and ledges and stuff like that. The only time they went up there is when they were roosting at night. During the day, they didn't fly at all. They just ran around all over the ground. And all birds can walk. Chickens, quail, turkeys, and pheasants, they can't fly real well, but they can fly fairly well. I remember going out in the fields in Illinois, in the cornfields, and the pheasants would get up and they'd shoot out like a rocket and they'd be gone. So yeah, they can fly, but once again, they don't fly far and long like robins or some blackbirds or ducks or geese, stuff like that. That's not what they were designed to do. They kind of live in one place year-round. They're not meant to migrate like other birds. Some chicken breeds that have been bred specifically to be very meat-heavy at a young age, well, some of these birds can't hardly fly or get much airtime. They can still fly a little bit, but they can't fly for very far. So this guy also refers his viewers to the following verse to see what clean birds are, because the verse lists 2 examples of birds that are acceptable to the Most High as an offering. Leviticus 1:14. And if the ascending offering of his offering to Yahweh is of birds, then he shall bring his offering of turtle doves or young pigeons. Then this guy states, you may ask what are the attributes of a young dove or a pigeon. The attributes are these 2. One, they fly, and the other, that they are herbivores. Well, there's one thing I've noticed through the years of raising pigeons and doves is that they absolutely love to eat bugs and worms every chance they get. So they are not strictly herbivores. And in referring to the chicken, this guy states, this bird eats worms, insects, grains, or anything you put in front of it. Yep. It is what we call an omnivore. And he also states all clean birds eat only herbs. Really? Where is that in the Torah? He didn't provide a chapter and verse for that in the Torah, probably because there isn't one. So that means he's adding to the Torah, which is a sin. And this is one of the major points that this guy is trying to make in that video against eating chickens. He thinks clean birds will eat only grasses, grains, and herbs. Now, with the exceptions of doves, all the other fowl, or all the other birds that I've raised, they will cannibalize each other given the chance. They're also going to eat whatever you throw in there for them or whatever they can catch, like mice, rats, and snakes. The rats and the snakes, they're going to eat the chicks. They're going to eat the eggs. I've had snakes go in there and suck up all the eggs. And they look funny having all the egg lumps running all the way down there. So yeah, those birds are going to just attack them. And given a chance, they'll start to eat them. Okay? They may not clean them out, but sometimes they will. But this is what Elohim created them to do. Okay? All birds are going to eat bugs and worms. This is how Elohim designed them. And I've seen a couple rare video clips where, shockingly, deer have been seen eating baby birds. Yet deer are considered clean. So maybe they're not strictly herbivores either. For the most part, yes. Let's talk about clean fish that have both fins and scales. What do they eat? Grains, grasses, and herbs? No! They eat smaller fish, bugs, worms, crabs, and other crustaceans. Some clean fish species will eat seaweed or pondweed, but not many of them. So is chicken clean? Absolutely. You can read Leviticus chapter 11, verses 13 and 19, and it tells you what birds to avoid. Chickens, quail, doves, pheasants, pigeons, they are not birds to avoid, so they are clean. My wife and I prefer to buy our chicken at the store that has been fed a natural non-GMO diet and are hormone-free, and you spend a little bit more for that, but it's a lot healthier, so it's worth it. Well, that's all I got for this video. Thanks for watching, everyone, and thanks for being a part of Beit Tefillah. Please sub to our channel if you haven't done so yet. Shalom to all my brothers and sisters that are scattered worldwide in the dispersion. Everybody be blessed and have a wonderful day.